Hello, I'm Corporal Sean Benson, and welcome to Police Report, brought to you by the men and women of the Baltimore County Police Department. This program brings you information on crime trends, crime prevention techniques, and information on police department activities and operations. In today's program, we will be speaking with Sergeant Robert Bouder of our Marine Unit. We will be discussing functions of the Marine team and get some advice on summer boating and water safety. We will also be speaking with Sergeant Chuck Hart and Director Allison Palladino of the Baltimore County Crisis Response System. The three of us will be discussing the mobile crisis team and assistance offered in Baltimore County to those who are in behavioral or mental health related crisis. We will end our show this month with details of a 1996 unsolved homicide. We need your help in finding out who killed Jody LaCorno. With our local weather finally starting to heat up, we will now be able to enjoy the summer months. During this time of year, many take advantage of the numerous miles of waterways in Baltimore County. The police department's marine team is charged with the difficult task of keeping our waterways safe and secure. This includes addressing everything from boater and swimmer safety to providing security to our shipping channels within Baltimore County. Here to discuss the functions of the Marine team and water safety is Sergeant Robert Bouder. Thank you for attending the show today, Sergeant Bouder.
Thank you.
Okay. And the first question I'm going to ask is, why do we need a Marine unit in Baltimore County?
Well, most importantly, the Marine unit encompasses approximately 200 miles of shoreline just within its jurisdiction. It also borders 5 other counties in the jurisdictional waterways. With that said, we have a large shipping channel that runs through the Baltimore County waterways, which worldwide trade is being brought to and from our ports within Baltimore City and also within Baltimore County.
Okay. And then just a little history about how the Marine unit came together, how this created. When did the Marine team start?
So a single officer, which previously worked in the Edgemere Station, Officer William McCluskey, started the unit as a one-man team by donating his own boat for $1 to the Baltimore County Police Department. That started in 1975. The police department then recognized the needs to have a larger Marine unit to address the many recreational and also commercial industries that use the waterways. At that time, the unit increased in its size and began to purchase its vessels in 1981.
Okay, and that's continued to grow. How many vessels do you have within the unit right now?
So for primary patrol vessels, we have 3 primary patrol vessels. We have 1 cabin vessel that allows us full-time usage all throughout the year. Then we have smaller tactical, small, inflatable boats that allow us to get in some of the shallower waterways within the county and also some of the reservoirs that lie within the county's jurisdiction.
Interesting. And then what's some of the equipment that you have at your access on these vessels?
So on our vessels, primarily for our mission is, 1, law enforcement on the waterways, enforcing rules of the road, so to speak. We also have search and rescue capabilities, and with that being said, each officer is equipped with night vision that they can personally wear. 2 of our vessels now are equipped with a FLIR, a forward-looking infrared system, to allow us to search for either a missing boater or someone who's gone overboard throughout the evening hours when there is no visibility. Each officer, along with each vessel, is equipped with all safety equipment that would be needed for not only, officers in the Marine unit, but also for people who are recreation and commercial using the waterways of Baltimore County.
And you said safety equipment. What's some of the safety equipment that any other boater should have on their boat?
Right. So any boat on the waterways of Baltimore County or in the state of Maryland, it's required that any persons on board the vessel, there must be a Type 3 personal flotation device so that each person on vessel would be able to use one. So 5 persons on a vessel, 5 separate PFDs. Along with that, having a fire extinguisher is also a primary necessity for a piece of equipment, and it must be fully charged, and they do have an expiration date on. Also, along with that, if you're in a body of water that's generally larger than 2 miles, then you're required to have a flare kit. With that also, you would like to have some type of throwable device, meaning a life ring or a seat cushion, which categorizes as a class 4, so that in the event that someone goes overboard, you can throw them something to gain them so they can allow to get buoyancy before a rescue can be made.
Okay. So each person on the boat, they should know how to use this equipment?
Correct. So before going underway, anybody who even buys a boat to enjoy it for recreational purposes should take a boater safety course. With that boater safety course, all of these items that are required, and depending on the size of the vessel, number of occupants on the vessel, and what the vessel is going to be used for, would determine what pieces of any other additional equipment they would need. So with that said, it would also demonstrate, they do have classes that you can attend or be taken online to demonstrate the use and the proper way to don these pieces of equipment.
Okay. And if I'm have a boat and I'm controlling the boat, am I required to have a license, or is my driver's license enough?
No. So in the state of Maryland, if you are born before July 1st of 1972, you are not required to have any type of boating license. Anyone born after July 1st, 1972 is required to have taken a boater safety education course and have completed it and have that certificate of completion, and they must have it with them to provide to an officer if they're stopped, to show that they have that course and have completed it. You can also take further designated courses, certain types of captain's licenses, which can be done through the United States Coast Guard or through Coast Guard Auxiliary, or people who have been given permission to train and give those classes.
Okay. And you said the boater safety courses, are all those through the Coast Guard also, or where can you take the safety courses?
So you have many options. Yes, the Coast Guard does offer them, the Auxiliary Coast Guard. Many of the local community colleges offer courses to do that as well. The Department of Natural Resources website also allows you to take an online course, and a lot of local volunteer fire departments, which are generally in neighborhoods with water capabilities and water-oriented communities, also offer these courses as well.
Okay. And part of your function, we'll go into who's in your unit, but part of your functions is law enforcement out on the waterways,
Yes,
correct?
Correct.
So what should I do if you come up to my boat and you stop me as a police officer? What exactly should I do at that point?
Sure. So upon being approached by a marine team vessel, that vessel will have emergency lights on just as a car would, and would activate its siren. By doing so, you want to bring your vessel to a slow speed, and at that point you want to take your vessel, place it in a neutral position so that your propeller or any type of propulsion you're using is not allowing the boat to move any further. But you also want to assure that you're doing it not abruptly, but you're doing it in a safe manner so that other boats around you, you don't affect their passageway or cause them to take a sudden action movement to prevent running into you. So what you want to do is look in your area, make sure what you know is around you, stop your vessel in a safe manner, and then at that time, allow the officer to approach you. When you see a Baltimore County officer, they will be dressed as I am, a little bit different from what you see an officer on the road would be wearing. What they'll do is they're going to tell you that they're going to come upon you. They're going to tell you what side of the boat they want to come upon you on. Or they may also tell you that they need you to move to a certain location just for safety purposes due to winds, boat traffic, and so forth. Upon doing so, either prepare some lines and have them ready to give to the officer as they're approaching you. You may also want to put out your fenders for your boat. As we approach you, we're going to also provide you with a line. We're going to ask you to tie that line off. Once we get the boat secured and we're in a safe place, we're going to ask you for your identification, which would be, yes, your Maryland driver's license, or whether it be from another state. Then from that point, we will address what the reason is for the stop. And then from that point on, we'll also probably do a safety check to assure that all the required safety equipment is on the vessel, and address whatever need and the reason for the stop was.
Okay. And if I'm lacking any kind of safety device that's required to be on the boat, what would happen at that point?
So two things. A person can be issued a warning just as they were pulled over in a vehicle on the roadways, and they can also be issued a finable citation. Okay. All required safety equipment is also a finable citation, as well as violating rules of the road, which would be, speed zone violations, reckless operation of a vessel, even down to operating a vessel under the influence of drugs or alcohol.
Okay. And if you start to say drugs and alcohol, so if you find that the operator of the boat is under the influence, what would happen to him at that point?
So on the vessel, we would begin a protocol. We would do some dexterity tests with that person and determine if they indeed are the operator of the boat, are they the owner of the boat. At that time, if we determine that we feel that based on our observations, their dexterity test, we also have the ability to do a preliminary breath test on the boat. That time, if we feel that the person is under the influence, which would be beyond what the legal limit, we would detain the person. We would determine if there's any other operators on the board the vessel that can operate the boat and have the license, if need so, to do so. We would transport that person back to our marine facility, and then from that point do standard protocols, field sobriety testing as if someone was stopped on the roadway.
Okay. And we have a pretty important public safety, boating safety day that we celebrate each year. Sergeant Marvin Hall, who was a sergeant with the police department, we have an annual boating day, usually in early June of each year. Can you describe that day for us?
Yes. So the concept of that day came from a previous team member. Back in 2015, the state of Maryland recorded its largest amount of water-related boating deaths, which was 22 for the upper Chesapeake Bay region. Out of those 22, 6 of them were in Baltimore County waters alone. So we looked at what can we do to educate boaters and to prevent the loss of life for people that are out there trying to enjoy themselves. So what came about of that is that we hold this event usually early June, just prior to kickoff of our boating seasons around here. And then it's a family event. We have local vendors come out as well as other agencies such as the Department of Natural Resources, the Coast Guard, and it's an education piece. So we gather community of not only just residents, but also business owners that actually have businesses that are on the waterways of the Baltimore County, such as restaurants and so forth. And then we set up so that not only just people coming there who are interested in boats or actually have boats, but we set up many stations and are learning stations, interactive, down from tying proper in the lines for securing a boat to a pier or to another vessel, equipment uses, how to use that equipment, and how to place it on, such as life preservers and so forth. And then and we make it interactive with the kids as well. And also it allows us to get to know the people that we're out there working with, because generally the boating community is large, but it's fairly tight. A lot of people know and use the same waterways commonly. Okay. So with that, we try to interact and establish that bond and communication within the community, not only its residents, but the residents, the police department, and the local vendors within the same area. Great.
Sounds great. I look forward to that event. And thank you for being on the show today with me.
Thank you. Okay? I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. As you can now see, the police department's marine team deals with the dual role of having a safe environment for boaters and swimmers, while also addressing the security needs of commerce traveling throughout the waterways of Baltimore County. Please remember the safety tips provided by Sergeant Bouder and enjoy your summer. If you would like additional information, please contact the Baltimore County Police Department Marine Team at 410-887-0279. Thank you again, Sergeant Bouder, for attending us today and being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Coming up next on our program, we'll be speaking with Sergeant Chuck Hart and Director Allison Palladino of the Baltimore County Mobile Crisis Team to discuss mental and behavioral health resources at your access in Baltimore County. But first, this message.